All right, we're back with Kevin Kinmann. Welcome to Stories from the River.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. So last week's episode was so good, we said, let's make this a two-parter. And so, hey, wherever you watch your podcast, we're back here. If you haven't watched part one, go back and do that right now. And we're going to pick up where we left off with favorite success stories. Kevin, how's that sound?
Oh, I love it. That's great.
Join Charlie Maloof as he explores the personal journeys of Broad River Retail's very own memory makers. Welcome to Stories from the River.
You've also had the opportunity to lead, mentor, guide, and direct many fellow memory makers in the East region to see them grow, prosper, and thrive. And probably also folks from other regions have garnered something from your mentorship or just from your role model, being a role model. Can you share some of your favorite personal growth and development stories who you believe you've had a direct impact on in your career?
Yeah. One is Michael Childers, we talked about him earlier. And, what I really like about Michael is the fact that, we knew exactly, we had spoke about vision with him, and I really knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to grow, and that's what ultimately he continued to capture stores. So great job there, really proud of that. And Josh Stanley most recently. So Josh Stanley going to senior GM. Josh had started with me in 2018. And had been through several stores, Wilson, Durham, the outlet, and the opportunity for Fayetteville arose, and he just rose to the occasion there and did a great job. And then we opened up Southern Pines, and that just, when you get to 10 stores, it's a little bit difficult to have oversight of all of them, and I really needed a partner I could trust, and he was promoted to senior GM, which is awesome, and I'm very grateful for him, and I think he's grateful for grateful for the company to have that opportunity. And another one, Sam Van Giesen. What a story there. She's an amazing leader, and started out as a sales manager, and then managed the Cary store during COVID time. She was really she spent some time in the outlet, the Raleigh outlet, became the GM of Cary. And then the opportunity for Raleigh opened up, and she is managing Raleigh, and then just recently senior GM role for her. So she's overseeing the outlet and the Raleigh location. So that's awesome for Sam and us. And then Rick Rush, Rick I've worked with for several years when we acquired the beach stores, and he was the guy.
Yeah.
And he transferred from the Raleigh store down to the beach as a senior GM.
Yeah.
And so there's a few other stories, but we'll leave it there.
That's four great ones.
Yeah.
Four great leaders for us, and you've had an impact on all of them. Our word of the year this year is thrive. What does it mean for you to thrive?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little maybe interesting with this, but it's not really a thrive for me, so to speak. What thrive to me is knowing everybody else's thrive and truly helping them. I think Zach kind of shared that. Like our why is to help others, and knowing their thrive, each memory maker in the East's thrive, and me helping, for them to reach that. That's so meaningful to me.
So other than someone you may have already mentioned in the previous question, who else is thriving today because of you and your leadership?
Well, Coda transferring, to the beach as a SM, sales manager. That's awesome. We hear stories all the time of people buying houses. That's awesome. Cars, whatever, a lot of firsts. But really the first standout would be Coda. He's the one that came to mind. And I'm just trying to, I got, that's to great. Not name drop. I was thinking, I know another person that's saving up $90,000 right now to put down on their house. Wow. They literally want to put $90,000 down on a house.
I've been hearing of so many folks in the East region who are buying houses.
Isn't it crazy?
It's really great. What advice would you offer to someone else to help him or her thrive this year, other than saving money for a new house?
Well, I think what it is for them to find their purpose and really understand that it is sales, but once you really get great at it, this is something that nobody can ever take away. And there is a lot of fulfillment when a guest comes in and you literally tear up because they're coming in for a lift recliner and you actually end up selling them on a zero gravity sleep system, and now they're sleeping with their partner. I think that's a lot of when they get to that level of why they're really selling furniture and what it means to furnish life's best memories. That's thriving to me.
Yeah. Other than what you've already shared with us last week and already today, what have been some of your other best memories here at the river?
I'll tell you, one of my favorites was when we partnered with Wounded Warriors.
Yeah.
They're a little north of the town north of Fabo. It escapes my mind right now. But there was a gentleman that had served, and a major catastrophe happened, and he was wounded, and he's a paraplegic at this point, and a house was given to him, a smart home, and Ashley went in there and furnished it. And I can remember him and his wife coming to the Fayetteville showroom, and they just open checkbook, pick it out, accessories, the whole 9 yards, teamed up with our visual team, and that day delivering it to him. I don't know if you could beat that memory.
That's a special day. That was in Linden, North Carolina, with the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation, where we partnered with that foundation who they build smart homes around the U.S. for returning permanently injured, folks may have lost their limbs or being confined to a wheelchair, returning servicemen and women. And they asked us if we wanted to partner with them. We said absolutely. So we furnished their entire home. So that was a hot day, July 2017 in Linden. I remember that. That was
another one that comes. One that's one of my favorites is when we partnered with Tempur-Pedic, and semi-trailers of mattresses of Tempur-Pedics came. One time we went to Fort Bragg and delivered them. The other time the truck, a couple semi-trailers came to Fayetteville showroom, and it was all these service members getting a brand new mattress. That was awesome.
And that's through a program through corporate with Operation Shut Eye and Ashley Home Stores. And I think we were giving them to Delta Force then.
Yeah.
And they were so appreciative of it. You can't take pictures. They're not going to parade it or make a big deal about it. But, a portion of every Tempur-Pedic that we sell through the Ashley Home Stores goes to Operation Shut Eye. Another great event.
Awesome.
Very much given back into the military and those who serve and sacrifice for our country. Okay, let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite quote or quotes that inspire you or guide you?
One of them is, I'm willing to give up what I am now for what I can be. I think that's really important. I think that goes with, I mentioned vision a couple of times. And then the other one is, just when I thought about giving up, I remembered who was watching. And that's really about love.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks that are depending on, us and each other. And it's not always easy, but we got to make sure that, hey, that we're always focused.
Those are two great quotes. Okay, I want to switch gears again, going to COVID and the pandemic. And I want to spend some time asking you about your experience leading retail during the pandemic. I mean, we celebrated a grand opening on Thursday, March 12th, 2020 at our new Raleigh outlet store, and we had dinner together as a team. I vividly remember it. And then abruptly, our world changed as we entered a 24/7, 365 crisis management mode on Friday the 13th, 2020. What was it like for you and our retail memory makers in the East during the early days of the pandemic?
Yeah, well, leading into the pandemic, when we were talking about furloughs and all this other stuff, it was like one of those things that we've never experienced it. I've never experienced it in my leadership as running showrooms. And so it was all new. So we had the grand opening, and it was kind of like a weird time. It was just, you didn't believe what was about to happen, or maybe people were like, overthinking it. And then of course it hit, and it got serious real quick. And at that point, there was some folks, they needed to take off. They needed to, we had the option of furlough. We had the option of staying open. And I'm glad that we were able to accommodate both. So it was not easy. It was a trying time.
Well, what was the toughest part of leading during the pandemic?
I think keeping everybody having as best as could be peace of mind, to know that I think they really look upon their leaders to help guide them, or to give them peace of mind that knowing that we're there. Yeah. And I'll tell you, a text message or just a real conversation with empathy, it goes a long way, because they needed that.
Yeah. Last week we talked about some challenging seasons that you've gone through at the river. How did this season with the pandemic compare to those other challenges we talked about last week?
Well, previously, you're talking computer systems. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
At this point, it was serious. It was a health scare. It was a crisis. And it's not a me story. It's truly, I wanted to make sure that I had never been in that territory. Thankfully, we had an amazing human capital department, really the phone calls, the conference calls, everything, every single day. And you guys were guiding us and helping. It was very a tough time.
Yeah, it was real, like you said.
Yeah.
What have you achieved over the last 2+ years that you're really proud of, or that you'll look back on fondly?
We made it through it. We made it through it. The company, we were able to continue to grow. But I'll tell you, there were some people that actually got promoted during this time. Some folks that really just rose to the occasion, so to speak, and that made it through that. And that it was keeping as many people as we could during that time. And now 2.5 years later, or 2 years later, we're here where we're at today. And we are truly, I mentioned it last week, bigger, better, and stronger than we've ever been.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
right.
very, very, again, grateful for that.
We finished in a good spot. We got it through it. When you go through the foxhole with someone, it just draws you closer together.
Yeah.
Okay, self-discovery. Since you've been a memory maker here at the River, what is something that you've learned about yourself or about what you've been able to accomplish that has surprised even you?
I think it's resilience. It's you never really experience every single thing until you experience it, and then to know that you can rely on partners. Not being afraid to ask. You got to really be able to ask if you don't know. There's no sense in giving up or shying away or closing yourself off. You got to go ask and seek, and then know that it's only for a moment in time. We'll get through it. We got to believe. And that's the problem. I never really has the believe part, but it's the point of the resilience, knowing we're going to get through it. We're going to live through the day.
So talking about belief, did you ever believe or expect to achieve this level of success with Broad River?
You don't start on your day one with where you're going to end up in 10 years. I think you really just go out there and just love on your team. And no, I didn't.
Okay.
I talk about vision forecasting, but I'm not a title kind of guy. I don't go after titles. I just go out there and try to be the best, and then opportunity arises. So
Okay.
I'm very, very thankful.
I know you believe in this concept of a superpower because I've heard you talk about it. What do you think is what is your superpower?
I would say connection. I wasn't always gifted. I had to work really hard, experienced a lot of stuff through childhood and all that. And I just know what it means to connect. I'd like to think to connect with people. And I try to be easy and I try to be real. And I need to always be a better listener. I think we're all working on that. But it's just one of those things where the connection, and I think that people, I feel their pain. No matter what it is, it could be as simple as making a sale, whatever the case.
The empathy,
Yes.
muscle helps you connect.
Yeah, for sure.
So you've had a front row seat to over 10 years of growth at Broad River Retail. Since you've joined us, how has the company grown, adapted, or changed?
I'll tell you, it's the loving company. It's we've always loved. It's always been Broad River strong. The thing about it really is just the C4 process, so to speak, the salesmanship, the MMX team. Look at what they've created, and technology, of course. When I first started, as simple as headsets. We didn't have headsets on the sales floor to connect with each other. It was tell Tom that Kevin needs him over, and it was like, okay, where's he at on a Saturday, right? Like, is he in the back, or in front? So just technology to speed things up. Just a lot of that. It's changed. Just when I think back how much we've done and what we've created, and language is really important here at Broad River, and we just keep creating. We're just like a creation,
Oh, I know you're a very reflective person. So
yeah, I am.
And I know we've changed a lot, and it's been a flurry of activity. So what has remained constant over the past 10+ years?
I think people matter. And it never was something that we learned through any speaker that we've ever seen. I think we just kind of, how do we keep evolving? How do we keep bringing depth to that? And it's one of those things, I think a lot of companies are in like the shallow end when it comes to purpose. And I really feel like we're in the deep end when it comes to all that. So I really feel that it's important to us.
That's a good
And you can't fake it.
Yeah, good way of saying it. Okay, let's fast forward and talk about legacy. When you think about your legacy and how you'd like others to think of you, what 3 words come to mind that you'd like to have described you?
It would be love, trust, and integrity. And I look at love as I love my wife. She's amazing. And that they're just the love of family, the love of team. It's just, and there's so many things I fall into love. So that was an easy one to kind of think of due to the fact of love captures a lot of stuff. And then trust. I need to make sure that my team can trust me. It's important that you don't, when somebody shares something, that you got to really run it through a filter of who will this affect, there's got to be a level of trust. And then integrity. At the end of the day, love, trust, and integrity is something you really can't buy or fake, because it's going to come out.
Love it.
And just integrity is really important to me because I want a clean book of business.
That's
I really
great.
do.
I love that. I know that it always takes a village to achieve phenomenal success like you've achieved. Who are some of the unsung heroes who may not get the accolades or the colleagues of your world? And tell us what they do that help you.
Yeah. REMs. They're just they are the old protect the quarterback. They're out there really. I love a good audit, right? Like I love somebody that's really protecting the business. A lot of that visual team, Janet and Karen and Lynn in merchandising. I mean, the work they do is just amazing. MMX team, I mentioned them a couple of times. Harold Hampton and like the whole BI team. Operations.
So all the sales support functions,
sales support. I could go on
Yeah,
and on
and
and on.
REMs for our audience is retail experience managers, right?
There you go. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We're so good with acronyms, but
Yeah.
sometimes I got to slow us down and make sure we explain it to the audience. Okay, what's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I ever received, that would really be when I just think that success is not passive. You know, it's something that you do every single day. You do it in your walk. And just to make sure that I understand that, and those that are working for me, that if we want to make it happen, we got to go exemplify. And sometimes people want to coach from a chair, so to speak, and they'll go out and tell somebody what to do. And it's really like, well, if the person isn't receiving, maybe we need to get up and show them. So it's really important to just be passionate about what we do.
Yeah.
Because others will see that if we're not passionate.
That's
You
good.
can't fake it.
That's good. Being authentic through and through.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to a new hire starting on the sales floor today?
Yeah. You know, I mentioned this in C4 training. It's one of those, we recruited amazing talent, and to have a new memory maker join us at HFC. Well, you know, we have memory makers that make $150,000 a year, right? We have $200,000. Like there's a lot of success on our sales floors, but sometimes they make the mistake of thinking, why am I not doing it this year? Why am I not writing my goal of 150? Whatever goal they set up for themselves as a new memory maker. Some do, but some are learning. And you take like Aaliyah Hayes. Well, Leah Hayes wasn't a $2 million rider her first year. It's okay, you know, to set up. It's going to take a couple of years, you know, and I go into the story of maybe in the first year you write 800,000, then you write 1.2 and then 1.4 and then 2 million. However that progression goes, don't beat yourself up for not hitting maybe that target right off the bat or it coming a little too easy. It takes work.
So give yourself a runway.
Give yourself a runway.
Long obedience in the same direction can produce exponential results.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to a new leader starting in the East region?
I would say, you know, success is not passive. It's just really intentional. And we're going to, you know, you're going to be teamed up with a great mentor. We have a new leader onboarding system and program. I would just really take it all in, stay in the growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Maybe all the experience you have in the past, keep it there, like compartmentalize it. But know, like, have an open mind for the new process, and you'd be amazed at how successful you'll be.
Keep your ears open too. What do you believe are the critical qualities or characteristics that most contribute to success on the sales floor?
Behavior before belief.
Okay.
So you're not always going to believe, but just have the behavior.
Yeah.
And I promise you the belief will come.
Trust the
every single
process.
time. Yes.
If you could go back to your first day, what would you tell your younger self about what life is going to be like at the river?
It's going to be a ride. It's going to be a wild ride. It's not always going to be easy. Like, you know, when the highs are highs, they're definitely highs. When the lows are lows, we got to figure out how to navigate, and you're going to have to partner with other folks and, you know, other people maybe that are your mentors within the company. And it's going to be fun. And the coolest thing is we have an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Your take on the business really matters. Share it.
I also wanted to ask you, what are the critical qualities or characteristics that contribute to success as a retail leader?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You have to be interested. You're leading people. And what I think is sometimes we're not like your typical furniture retailer. We're a little bit different. We're really, we're performance based. We want to grow. We're all about the culture. So what I would do is make sure that you really are paying attention and learning and stay interested, stay engaged.
So you mentioned culture just then. What is your favorite thing about our culture here at the River? And in your opinion, what is it that makes our culture special?
It's growth. It's clearly growth. Look, I'm with the whole career pathing.
Yeah.
So I could speak for several minutes on that.
Well, I think growth is energizing.
Yeah.
And it's fun when you're growing. Growth creates opportunities. And I like to always say we will grow as far as our people will take us, or not. So we better have growth-minded people. It's the whole Carol Dweck growth mindset versus fixed mindset, right? So what is one thing about Broad River that you think would surprise others from the outside looking in? Maybe a misperception or something.
We're not like other furniture retailers, and I've shared that several times. We're a lot different than some of the other big boxes, and it's just amazing to be a part of Broad River Retail, to have the Ashley Industries brand. It's an amazing time to work here at Broad River.
Okay. And what is something about you that would surprise your fellow memory makers?
Yeah, I fail often. So there's two things. One, fun, and I fail often. I set goals, but it's okay. I fail not to nobody really gets hurt. We still continue to end up winning, and people are growing. So, but you gotta be honest. There's failure in there, and it's okay. And then also, I'm big on, if anybody's having car trouble at a store, it seems like I'm almost coming to the rescue. Some person's memory maker starter the other day was out at the Rock, and I was helping him out in the parking lot, and he already had it handled. I just had to go there and talk to him and support him. It was like 95 degrees out, and I just felt, hey, Dockers and all, I don't mind being out there, just helping.
You're the car trouble support guy?
Car trouble support guy.
Got to wear any hats. I thought you might talk about your, don't you play guitar?
A little bit guitar, but I might be, I'm not good.
I thought it might be your music prowess.
No. I want to keep people moving. I want to keep them running. Keep their cars running. It's more important to me.
Okay, if you could change one thing about the company today with the wave of a magic wand, what would it be?
Yeah, I would look at the guest experience from the moment they walk in the door to the point to where a delivery truck pulls away, it being premier, it being truly like the North Star.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of companies are working towards, and I just want to be the first.
Yeah.
So that's where we'd be.
Okay, let's say that I decided to retire, and I know you and I talked about working for the next 50 years together, but let's say I decided to retire and I gave you the keys to the company. You're the new president and CEO of Broad River Retail, and today's your first day in this new role. What would be your first order of business?
Yep. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you plan on growing the company? Is the company going to grow?
Well, we've got a growth strategy, so I hope so.
Yeah. So what I would do is follow that strategy.
No one's ever asked me a question.
I know we're going to grow. I love that piece of the business, and I'd look at you being a mentor. I'd make sure I had that, but we're doing a lot of things right. There's a lot of stuff that we do, but the one first and foremost, I'd continue to love on the team. And then I would follow your strategy of how we've grown. You and Manny have done an amazing job with that. And I'd really go back to look at history and what pieces of the puzzle, because I'm sure there's a playbook there, and I'd want to know that playbook. So it'd be loving on people and following the current playbook.
Got it. Love it. Okay, Kevin, to someone who is not a memory maker and is thinking of coming to the River, what advice would you offer to that person?
Yeah, I encourage them to. I really do. We have a great opportunity with a behind the curtain where we invite them to RX meetings and several leadership meetings. I would be interested in them. If they're interested, come on, check us out. Like I said, we're a lot different than the other furniture retailers. We love what we do. So the culture is going to be strong. It's going to be different than probably what they've experienced, but I wouldn't wait. I'd reach out to myself or our recruiting department because we're always looking for top tier talent, or we'll grow it.
That's right. Or, and you mentioned take advantage of the behind the curtain, the Backstage Pass opportunity, and check us out. We're fully transparent. If you have a question, check us out. But we'd love to have you on board. Anything else that you didn't say that you wanted to say, Kevin?
No, I just enjoyed this, and I love listening to them each week. So you've had some amazing speakers on, and so I'm looking forward to it to continue.
Yeah, part of what makes a great podcast host is having great podcast guests. And so I asked some folks about you, and before you get off the hot seat, I'd love to just read from some of your colleagues, if that's okay.
Okay.
I'm going to share with you a little bit.
From
Will Luke. I remember as a new DM, maybe 2 weeks in, being sent out to shadow Kevin for a few days. And it was there for the first of many times where I saw his energy, his passion, his pace, his stamina, how much he truly cared. And of course, I saw his legendary head on a swivel mindset. Half of me was likely thinking, what did I sign up for? And can I keep up with this guy? And the other half was thinking, if you chase this guy and you observe this guy, you will be successful. So here we are 5 years later, and I'm truly honored to work with Kevin, to have had him as a friendly rival and a quote unquote rabbit who has motivated me and helped me grow my career, and also a good friend. So in respect to Kevin's incredible consistency and to honor the random 80s music videos Kevin loves to send me, Kevin, hold the line.
Nice. I appreciate that. Will.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the head on the swivel, the P2I. We didn't get into that as much today, but I want to read a couple more from Stacy McCormick, SVP of Retail Performance. When I think about Kevin, a few words come to mind: winning, driven, passionate, caring, hardworking, tenacious, dependable, and consistent. There's that consistent word again. Kevin cares about and loves his family, the people he leads, the people he works with, and Broad River Retail. It's easy to see why Kevin succeeds. Head on a swivel. There it is again. I'm not about all this funny business, 27 in a row, etc. I think he may be quoting you there.
Yeah.
Kevin's impact in Broad River Retail as a company and the people that work here is huge. He is on 10 every day, all day. I know one thing every day. Kevin Kinmann is doing all he can to do all he can. I trust that. He is a Broad River Retail legend and has earned everything that has come his way. From Manny, The Rock. For a decade now, Kevin has been faithfully marching out east. The journey has produced some remarkable accomplishments by sowing seeds and being committed to the process along the way. He has lived out our purpose before it was defined, truly furnishing life's best memories. I got one from Rick. From Rick Rush. Kevin has been a great business partner, mentor, and friend for the past 10 years for me. He is genuine, inspiring, and the quote unquote bringer of energy when you need it. I've enjoyed having a front row view of his growth with Broad River, both personally and professionally. He is truly the rock that is strong and dependable in all situations. I got one more. That. Yeah, from Josh Stanley. The main reason I work here is because of Kevin. I interviewed with him at the Raleigh Glenwood location, and as I was walking out the front door, I called Bridget and said, I have to work for that guy. He has been an incredible mentor, teacher, and friend over my 4 years here, and I can't wait to see what we can accomplish together. I can't think of anyone else I would rather work with or for.
That's amazing. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah. So, we got some great stories from you, Kevin, and the head on a swivel that folks mentioned. I mean, you're part of the reason of your success is you are active on the sales floor. You are active in P2I. We call that being in position to impact. Head on a swivel means you know what's going on in your showrooms. You've truly known what's going on in your region. And you've been the rock for us, the foundation. And look how far we've grown. 10 stores, a beautiful campus, and the future is incredibly sunny and bright. And your leadership has had the biggest impact and impression on what we've done out east. And that's inspired the rest of the organization. And the rest of the organization has inspired other licensees and throughout Ashley Corporate. So it's reverberated throughout the nation. Man, you've had a tremendous impact. Thanks for giving us some time on this Stories from the River. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Thank you for having me here, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Hey, that is Kevin Kinmann, a two-parter. That's Kevin Kinmann, our regional manager for the Beast in the East region. He is the rock. Hey, wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, mash that like button, mash that subscribe button. Hey, if you're listening on Apple, subscribe or like, or Google, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We bring you fresh new content from the leaders in retail and home furnishings every single Wednesday. You get to hear directly from the field, directly from the river, tips, tricks, and the real story, man. There's no punches pulled, nothing held back. We're going to bring it real and keep it real. And I know one thing, Kevin's going to get it done every single day, man. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
We got some work to do.
We got some work to do. Thanks for joining us. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks,
Bye-bye.